Imagine a tropical paradise lost in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Crystal clear waters, swaying palm trees, vibrant coral reefs. Now, imagine you are banned from ever setting foot there. This is Diego Garcia, an island that looks like a vacation postcard, but is actually one of the most secretive and powerful military bases on Earth. And the story of how it became that way involved colonialism, Cold War secrets, and bombers that can end the world. Let's dive in. Diego Garcia is the largest island in the Chagos archipelago, sitting about halfway between Africa and Indonesia. It's shaped like a horseshoe, with a massive lagoon in the middle, big enough to park warships. 4 centuries. This island was home to the Chagossians, unique Creole community descended from African slaves, Indian laborers, and French settlers. They lived simply, fishing, farming, coconuts, raising families. They had their own culture, their own language. They called it home. Then came the 1960s. The Cold War was heating up, and the United States needed a strategic base in the Indian Ocean to counter Soviet influence. They looked at a map and saw Diego Garcia. Perfect location, deep harbor, remote. But there was just one problem. People lived there. So, the US went to its ally, Britain, which controlled the islands, and together they hatched a secret plan. In 1966, the US and Britain signed a deal. Britain would force the Chagossians out. The US would build the base, and the world would be kept in the dark for decades. What followed was a dark chapter of modern history that almost nobody talks about. To force the islanders out, British officials cut off food and medical supplies. They shut down the coconut plantations, the only source of work. They even shot and gassed the Chagossians' pet dogs to terrorize them. Yes, you heard that right. They killed their pets in front of the children to make them leave. By 1971, the last islanders were rounded up, crammed into cargo ships, and dumped in Mauritius and Seychelles, thousands of miles away, with nothing but the clothes on their backs. One woman gave birth on the boat during the journey. Her son was born in exile and has never seen his homeland. The US Navy then moved in and built what is now one of the most important military bases on the planet. The runway is nearly 2.5 miles long, capable of landing any aircraft, including the space shuttle. The harbor can dock aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines. It has massive fuel depots, weapons, storage, and barracks for thousands of troops. Diego Garcia's location is what makes it so valuable. It sits right in the middle of the Indian Ocean, within striking distance of the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. During the Gulf War, B-52 bombers launched from here to strike Baghdad. During the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, it was the same story. Nearly every major U.S. conflict in the region for the last 50 years has used Diego Garcia as a launching pad. Recently, the island stepped back into the spotlight. In early 2025, satellite images revealed something shocking. 6 B-2 Spirit bombers parked on the runway. The entire U.S. Air Force only has about 20 of these aircraft, each costing over $2 billion. They carry the GBU-57 Bunker Buster, a 30,000-pound bomb designed to destroy fortified nuclear facilities deep underground. The world immediately understood the message. The U.S. was preparing for a possible strike on Iran. Why launch from Diego Garcia instead of bases closer to Iran? Because those bases are within range of Iranian missiles. Diego Garcia sits nearly 4,000 kilometers away, safely out of reach. It's the perfect safe distance for bombers to take off, hit their targets, and return. But here's the twist. When the U.S. actually carried out Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025, a major strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, the B-2 South didn't launch from Diego Garcia. They flew nonstop from Missouri. Some analysts believe the deployment to Diego Garcia was a brilliant deception, making Iran look one way while the real attack came from another. Meanwhile, what about the Chagossians? For over 50 years, they've been fighting to go home. They've won multiple legal battles. In 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that Britain's occupation of the islands was illegal. In 2024, Britain finally agreed to hand sovereignty back to Mauritius. But here's the catch. The U.S. base stays, and the Chagossians are still banned from ever setting foot on Diego Garcia, not even to visit their grandparents' graves. Today, the The Chagossian community lives in exile, scattered across Mauritius, Seychelles, and Britain, many in poverty. Just a few days ago, in February 2026, two Chagossian women submitted a complaint to the United Nations, arguing that the UK's deal with Mauritius perpetuates the crimes against them. They want reparations. They want justice. They want to go home. But Diego Garcia remains a fortress. Satellite images from just last year showed B-52 bombers coming and going as the base continues to expand. So when you look at Diego Garcia, what do you see? A vital military asset keeping the world safe, or a stolen paradise where an entire people were erased for the sake of power? Maybe it's both. The most extraordinary stories are often hiding right in front of us. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.